Hi, learning coaches. Thank you so much for clicking on the link and for watching this video. I know your time is very valuable. Everyone is super busy. So I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. I will try to make it as quick as we can. As always, if you watch this video and you have questions, please reach out to me and I will do my best to help you. My name is Lee Powell, and I'm the 6th grade student support specialist. My contact information is on the screen. I will do my very best to get back to you within 24 to 48 hours. If it's been more than 48 hours and you have not heard from me, please feel free to reach out again. Sometimes I'm a little bit quicker answering emails than I am phone calls, but please reach out if you have any questions or concern. I'm basically your first point of contact. So any questions, concerns you have, you are more than welcome to reach out to me and I can point you in the right direction. The goals of this video, number one, just to encourage learning coaches. I know most learning coaches have a lot on their plate, and being a learning coach is one more thing. That's why we don't just call you parents, we call you learning coaches, because you are a valuable role in your child's education. So please know that I acknowledge that y'all play a huge role. That saying, teamwork makes the dream work, could never be more true than at Cyber Academy. We really want to partner together, the students, the learning coaches, the teachers, the support staff, to make sure y'all have the best year possible. In this video, we're also going to go over Cyber Academy requirements, student requirements. I want to make sure that all learning coaches know what it is that we're looking at, what we are expecting from our students, and to give you information on how you can best support your student. We're going to have a lot of different screenshots of the different tabs in the OMS system, so that you can have kind of cheat sheet, the easiest way you can go in to make sure your student is doing what they need to do. If you are new to Cyber Academy, I know it can be a little bit overwhelming as a learning coach, all of the different screens and knowing where to go to see if things are being done correctly. Even if you were a Cyber Academy parent last year, the middle school platform is a little bit different from the elementary platform. So still a little bit of a learning curve. So hopefully this can help. So I'm not going to read through these right now, but these are the minimum school requirements. These are the things that your student needs to be completing every day. We are going to break these down one by one and kind of go through them, explain what they are, and then go to the OMS system to kind of show you where you can check and make sure they are being completed. So number one is pretty simple: read and respond to communication. That is a requirement of students and learning coaches. It applies to email, phone calls, text, live chats in the session. Anytime a teacher or staff is reaching out to you, it's just important that you reach back out. Number two is to attend required Class Connect sessions. It is important that students attend all of those live classes, that they stay engaged in the class. If they should miss a class, it is expected that they go and view the video by the end of the week. They can just go back to that original class, click on it. It should give them the option of looking at the video. But again, they are required to be in those live classes. This is just if they miss a class due to, say, being sick, doctor's excuse, something like that. If you have a doctor's excuse, you can email that to me and I will be glad to get it updated in the system. Here's a little bit of a way you can help as far as Class Connects go. When you log in as a learning coach, there's a place you can go that says impersonate the student. When you click that button, now it is important that you do not do any work because it will show under your account and not the student account. They would not get credit for it. But you are able to click as impersonating your student and be able to see everything, all the tabs that your student can see. So when you impersonate your student and you go to the My Schedule tab, it will automatically filter it by the day. It will just show that day's Class Connects and that day's assignments. But you can filter it by the week. So this could be helpful as a learning coach to sit down at the beginning of the week with your student, kind of plan out their whole week, see what days they have lots of classes, maybe days they don't have as much, and kind of plan out when they are going to set aside time to go to their classes and then when they're going to set aside time to log into those courses and complete their assignments. All right. That took care of 1 and 2. 3 and 4 kind of go together. What does it mean to submit required assignments and make progress in every course every school day. You would just want to make sure that your student is going to their schedule every day, they're attending their live classes, that they're logging in to their core classes, ELA, math, science, and social studies every day, completing their assignments that are due. Okay. If they have fallen behind, you want to make sure that after they do their daily assignment, they are working to get caught up. And we'll talk about where you can go to find out what they're behind in just a minute. And then also if maybe they're not behind, but they've taken tests and quizzes and not done well on them, then after they complete that daily assignment, you want to make sure they're working on their retake opportunities. OMS is the platform where they see all their assignments and they have work in OMS to do. They may also have work in outside programs like Progress Learning, Classic, and so it's important that they're keeping up with those assignments as well. Don't forget to complete those assignments that are outside the OMS. And if you have any questions about any assignment, do not hesitate to reach out to the teacher. Just be really specific in what you email them so they know exactly what question you have about which assignment. Okay, so some ways learning coaches can help. When we say log into classes every day, now you can get their assignments off of that My Schedule tab. But if they come to the Classes tab, and you can go to the Classes tab as well, click on a class. It is going to automatically put you on that class home page. And this is an important page for students to look at. It has the Class Announcements tab, so they can see any class announcements from their teacher. Under upcoming events, you can also see what assignments are due. Be careful if there may be an assignment that's a 2.3 lessons and a 2.3 quiz. Make sure they're doing the lessons first and then completing their quizzes. But this is where you can go to find the assignments due. You can also click on this little date up at the top, up in the middle, Friday, what does that say? Friday, January the 8th, and it will pull up a calendar. So if you knew that your child missed last Thursday because they had a doctor's appointment, you could come back here and go to that Thursday date and see exactly what was assigned for the class they missed. So class homepage, super helpful. Once they finish that daily assignment, and again, we encourage them to do the daily assignment first. That way you don't have to worry about any overdues coming up later on and any zeros being added to the grade book. But after you complete that daily assignment, they can go to their grades tab and look for overdue work, work that they've done but not done their best work, so they can do retakes. And this is a great place where you can go to see exactly what makes up their grade. So if they are not passing a class, you can click on the grades tab and look and see why not. Why aren't they passing? Do they have overdues? If they do, they'll have zeros. Make sure they're going back in and completing those. Do they have test or quizzes they've completed, but they have not done well in? Most quizzes in OMS can be taken 3 times and test twice. So you definitely want to make sure they are using those opportunities and using them wisely. The grades tab does break it down between test and projects, quizzes, and participation. So you're able to come here and see exactly what makes up their grades. So this is a wonderful tab for learning coaches. Now, on that grades tab, you can identify what needs to be taken or retaken, but unfortunately, most of the times you can't get to that test or quiz from that grades tab unless your teacher has put a link under the comments section. But if you don't see a link under the comments section, then you just need to go a little scavenger hunt to go find it. So if it's something in OMS, you can click on the content tab, just scroll down till you see that lesson, click on it. It will pull up the lesson and show you all of the lessons and then the assessment. We're going to talk about check marks in just a minute, but if you do not see check marks, that means that the lesson has not been clicked into at all. Okay, so we definitely want to see check marks. If you do not, then you know your student skipped all the lessons and just did the assessment. So we definitely want them to go back, do all of the lessons, then they can attempt that assessment again. When they click on assessment for the second time or third time, a box will pull up. It will let them know what they made the first time, how many retakes they have available. There's also a review button. So check marks. Check marks do show that the lesson has been clicked into in the OMS. It does not show that quality time was spent. Okay. A lot of times, especially maybe at the beginning of the year or for a new student, we see that they get the check mark, but when you go and look at the actual time spent on the lesson, it is extremely low. Sometimes it's 0. They've clicked into it just to get that check mark to move on to the next thing. Or it's very low, seconds, a minute spent on a lesson. So the way you can check that as a learning coach, if you see that your student is taking a quiz, but they're not passing, this is a good screen to come to, the progress tab. You just scroll down to where you see content required and optional topics. You can click that little drop down button and it will take you to each lesson, and it breaks the lesson down into all the individual parts and shows you exactly how much time was spent on those lessons. So if you see that they are rushing through, you can work with your student to really help them to slow down. If you see that they are spending quality time on the lessons, they're just really struggling with the content, then you can reach out to the teachers for additional help. Logins, that was another important thing to make sure that this is separate from Class Connects. It is important that they're going to Class Connects every day, but you also want to make sure that they are logging into all of their core courses. So that's ELA, Math, Science, and Social Studies every school day, including Fridays, and completing their work. So as a learning coach, you can click on the Progress tab. You can scroll down to Course Access, and it will pull up and tell you exactly what days they have logged in. This is a tab that I look at as well when I'm kind of checking on a student's progress, and I would want to see a date listed for every school day to show that they are logging in. All right, back to that list of minimum school requirements. The last one, attend school each day. I always like to tell kids this is kind of a freebie. If you're going to your Class Connects every day and you're logging into your core courses every day and submitting your work, number 5 takes care of itself. And again, if you do have excuses, you are welcome to email those to me, and I will be glad to get those uploaded for you. Just a little brief summary of what happens if your student is not engaged and they're not following minimum school requirements. First, we would send an alert email, and that would just tell you, okay, I'm seeing they're not fully engaged. Take a look at their OMS. You can pull up this video, go back through, check on these screens to be able to see what's missing and what they can do to help improve their grades. Hopefully that email alert is enough to get in there and get back on track. If we have students that are not still on track when we review it in the next week or so, the next step would be a probation support plan, and that is a 3-week plan where basically they just have to do those minimum school requirements. They earn a badge for each one, so they could earn a total of 5 badges in a week. 15 badges in 3 weeks. It is a requirement that they earn at least 12 badges in those 3 weeks to be off of probation and back in good standing with Cyber Academy. If they do not earn at least 12 badges in those 3 weeks, then they are submitted to administrative withdrawal review. And that's where administration takes a look at all of their work from the beginning of school until the present review, and they decide if they are able to stay a student at Cyber Academy. If you are administratively withdrawn from Cyber Academy, it does go into your record and follows you to the next school, and you cannot enroll in another K-12 Stride school for the remainder of the school year. Now, obviously, we do not want to get to any of these points, which is one reason why we have this video, so that we can avoid this. Just some reminders that I always tell students: make sure you're looking in the grade book for any 0, any low grades to improve. Complete more than one lesson in a subject to get caught up on overdue work. If they have 0s, if they are missing some work, and all they're doing each day is just their daily assignment, they're not going to get caught up. They're not going to replace those 0s with better grades. So it's important to do more than one. Take notes while you're reading the lessons. Spend time reviewing the material before taking the test. Obviously, go slow. Look at all of the lessons before you take the assessment. Make sure they're reaching out to teachers if they have topics that are really challenging for them. Let the teachers know you're struggling and see if you can get some additional support. And then if you ever see where teachers, they may have optional help sessions. And sometimes students look at that word optional and just automatically say, oh, I don't have to go to that. But just remember, that could still be a really good thing, even if it's optional. So if you are struggling and you see a help session from your teacher, be sure you are attending that. All right, there is tutoring through tutor.com. If you have questions about that, you can reach out to your child's homeroom teacher. And then just some reminders for learning coaches. Be sure you are checking your emails daily and responding to any that require a response. Make sure your student is attending their live Class Connect. Send doctor's excuses to me. Support your student. Help them to make a consistent schedule for getting their schoolwork done. Sometimes if a student is far behind, it can be really overwhelming to go to that grades tab and see all the zeros. We don't want them to feel overwhelmed. So I would encourage you, if that is the case with your student, to really kind of sit down, add up all the zeros, and then make a plan for how many they're going to get done each week. We don't expect perfection, but we do expect progress. So we want to see that if they had 20 overdue assignments one week when I look at them, and the next week they only have, let's say 10, 11, is it perfect? Have they caught up on all of them? No. But are they making great strides to get caught up? Yes. So if you can help them kind of make a plan for that, that is an awesome thing. Make sure you're checking assignments, making sure they're completed, checking with that gradebook tab. Reach out to teachers and to me if you have any questions or concerns. And then the other thing I would say is make sure you have a backup in place to cover internet outages or laptop issues. That is a requirement for Cyber Academy, that you have internet and that you provide a laptop. If you qualify, you may have one from K-12, but even if you're using a K-12 laptop and it has issues, you are still expected to get a backup. So we recommend Library. They're a great resource for laptops and for internet. If you're just needing internet, any kind of coffee shop place like that that provides free internet. And then you can always borrow a laptop or share if you have multiple students. But if you have any kind of tech issue, make sure you reach out to K-12 tech support. Reach out to me so that I can kind of escalate it on my end, so that we can hopefully get those laptops back quickly. The Middle School Message is a great resource for both students and learning coaches. If you look on any email you get from me, it should be in my signature, a link that goes to this website. Again, lots of resources for learning coaches and students. Highly recommend. The last thing is just to let you know that you as a learning coach make a huge difference. Some students don't require a lot of support from the learning coach, just kind of checking in at the end of the day to make sure everything is great and that they are on track. Some students require a lot of support from their learning coaches, really kind of sitting with them throughout the day, making sure they're staying on track and getting their work done. You know your student better than I do. So work with your student, figure out how much support you need to give your student. If you are not sure about, excuse me, about anything with the ONMS platform, feel free to reach out to me. If you had questions before this video, I hope this helped to answer some. But if it did not, and you still have more questions, feel free to reach out to me and I will be glad to help. Thanks so much.